In relationship to this, I want to talk about the idea of fitting in versus fitting out. I know for me that as I discovered holistic and these kind of concepts, I became more and more, shall we say, alienated with regular society. I began to feel like I was living on the periphery looking in. And there were my neighbors, my parents, my family, and somehow they were in a movie that I was watching, but I wasn't in the movie. And that my values were not the same as other people. How many of you feel like you live kind of at the periphery of the society? Look around, just see how many hands you... Okay, and then I want to ask you, how many of you then try to just fit in? You're like, I don't want them to discover how far out I am, so I'm going to pretend I'm normal, so I fit in, so they won't lock me up. And so I don't know how many of you do experience this whole thing, but I want to encourage you to give up about fitting in, because it just gets worse and worse. Once you're on this track of personal growth and development, most Americans have never shopped at Whole Foods or eaten organic. As much as they say it's increasing, it's 10%, 20%, it's only increasing so much because it started out with about 95% of Americans not eating organic. Most Americans have never received a massage. We live in a bit of a bubble. But the more we experience those things, the more we move out further to the periphery. And so the effort it takes to fit in and look normal increases. And I want to encourage you to use that same energy to fit out. To be able to say, it's kind of akin to when people come out of the closet. They're like, okay, this is me, and this person is gay, or they're lesbian, or they're bisexual, or transsexual. They're just who they are. And in this kind of personal growth thing, instead of trying to fit in, to be able to say, this is me. I believe in Jesus, or I believe in a past life, or a future, whatever that is, no one's going to lock you up. And maybe by being authentic, you will help other people feel safe to know that this whole world makes sense. Yes, you get what I'm saying? And so whatever is your version of coming out, I want to encourage you to be real. Find ways that are effective to share that with people and to be able to assimilate this information into your life. And also to plan your future now based on the information from class. So if death is the greatest hoax, there is no death. If you're going to just keep recycling into the future, then how will you live your life? Will you be more able to let go of the fitting in? Because the challenge is, if you don't do what you're supposed to do this life, then, as I say, you have to come back next life anyway to do whatever you were supposed to do this life, so you might as well do it now. So I want to question you, what is that thing that you know in your heart you need to do? That is your mission, your heart, soul, and if you're already doing it, how can you fine-tune that process for yourself to be able to get done this life, whatever you need to? And, there's risks involved. When I was living in Canada and doing corporate things, and it was a really big risk for me to walk away from that, to move to America, to start from scratch, and to live for 10 years on almost no money. I lived in the school because I couldn't afford the rent for 2 different places, to be able to carry through my vision in my heart what I dreamed to do. And so I want to ask you, what are those risks? I'm not saying you need to do what I did, but what are those risks that you could take that make sense to you to live the life of your dreams? How can you create that for yourself?